Good evening, Capricorn. Welcome. I'm doing a question called What's Troubling Them? And it's intended to discover whoever you're thinking about or whoever you've noticed was up in their head and maybe having a hard time, or maybe quite the opposite, like a super good time, and you're wondering like what's up with them. We're here to look at that through oracle cards and tarot. So let's just dive in. You get privileged lady. So in this case, this privileged lady could be them, but it could be you, or it could be someone else, right? We don't know, but what's troubling the person that you're thinking about concerns this particular person. But this privileged lady could be you. Not gender specific, of course not. Let's look at the tarot and really see what this is about and why they're feeling like either troubled, or at least why is it occupying so much of their thoughts. This particular person, actually. Okay. Six of Swords in reverse with the Knight of Cups in reverse. And there's a third card here, the Magician. Okay, so there's a situation involving this particular woman, feminine energy at the very least. Someone with education, someone who would have had an easier time in life than maybe other people, right? They would come from a kind of fortunate background or upbringing. And it doesn't have to be necessarily wealthy, it just means like maybe above average. It's really also pointing to their education. And it's pointing to their family. So it's important, I guess, for you to know that in terms of eventually what I'm about to say on the Magician when I get there, but maybe I should just say it now. This privileged person has had like a lot of tools at their disposal because of their upbringing. So they kind of have like they're fortunate in that way, right? It's about being blessed with these gifts and these skills and these opportunities, and you know, just being who they are and having the family that they have. So but it greatly empowers them, and it gives them an advantage. I'm not going to shy away from the word because that's what it is. So what's troubling them, I don't know if it's this lady. I know that I am attaching the Magician to this particular energy, but in terms of who you're thinking about, I don't know if it's this particular person that I'm describing, or if you're that person, or if it's someone else. Like I said at the beginning, it'll be different for all of you, so you connect the dots, of course. Now, the core of the matter is the Six of Swords in reverse with the Knight of Cups in reverse. There's an inability to grow past a particular, I want to say, failure in a relationship. So that's quite clear here. So what's troublesome is the fact that the person can't move on. Things are not changing. They're mostly not changing because I think that, let's say it's this person, the privileged lady character here, or whether it's you, there's no, what's not changing is the quality of the relationship, the rapport, the love itself inside that relationship, you know. There's just no what's interesting also, it's not so much that there's no love, it's the fact that there's no love offered. And because it's a night, there's also the it's really important here that there's a sense of movement and like extending oneself, right? So that's really important. So it's twice it's being shown that that's not happening. So it's a little bit like, I don't know who's not budging, but there's the real matter, like, how can I put it? There's two ways to look at it. You can look at it as the person is not moving on. They can't outgrow the fact that the relationship is not working, that, you know, that's one way. But it could also be that the reason there's no love offered is because that there's a lack of movement, of traveling, that there's a lack of wanting to get on that boat together to move somewhere else, right? You know, that something is not being done jointly, because you do have two people in the boat. So yes, some people say it's a child, a mother and a child, but let's open our minds and look at it as two people in the boat. So they're basically going together somewhere. And I don't feel that this is happening. And so I think that there's no relationship, or there's no extension of, no gestures of love, no talks of love, no because it's not being done together. Also, it could be read as both people are not moving on. That's a possibility. What's really strange then is the magician, because the magician would have the power to change things, to make them better, to influence them, to create, recreate. Maybe that's what's troubling this particular individual. The person that has the ability to recreate, maybe she, because it's a lady here depicted on the card, but it doesn't have to be gender specific again. So this person is maybe troubled because they're debating whether they're gonna actually make an offer, which I don't think they are, but they could also be troubled because they're trying to influence the outcome of this relationship, and possibly it's not possible. Maybe it's not possible to influence the course of a relationship, meaning that they can't turn around the fact that there's no real exchange and love here. But the Six of Swords is really complex here. I read it 3 ways. It's really interesting because it depends on your life circumstances, of course. And yet, sometimes I don't always get all 3 sides like that, or 3 specific. Sometimes I do, but not always. And I'm gonna go as far as saying, and this is just my intuition speaking here, that all 3 are true. That somehow there's a little piece here that is true about this particular character that we saw, the privileged lady, as not being able to move on and knowing quite well the relationship is not going to work out. I think it's also true that if the relationship was to work out, it would have to be done jointly, and it's not happening. So clearly one party's not clocked in. And thirdly, the relationship is affected because both people cannot travel together, cannot go somewhere together. Let's get the guidance, because I don't know what to add to that. All I know is that for some reason I want to say that all 3 are true, happening simultaneously, if that's even possible. I think the Magician is making me say that. Do you know what I mean? Almost like parallel realities. I just got chills. It's up to you, and in the near future. Well, the it's up to you part is definitely about creating, recreating, that I was describing here on the Magician, whether having the power or not to change the surround. And whatever is going on here, because it's pretty complicated, it's happening sooner than later. So I don't know if the it's up to you part is truly directed at you, Capricorn. I don't know if the it's up to you part is directed at this person and how they're gonna work on whatever is occupying their brain, namely this situation, this very complicated situation. I'm not sure who it points to. So that's the reading. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. I hope something resonated, although it was yeah, it was complex. Like the video, share if you feel like it, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Good night.